So, the next show we have on the list is Trickster.
All right, so this was ours, and so
I think Shay, did you see this too?
Yeah, I watched this one too.
do you want to start it off, or do you want me to start it off?
I mean, I'm almost more curious to see what you guys think about it because I might have a completely different opinion on it. But so I'm gonna let you guys take this one.
Okay. So I liked the first episode. I liked the first couple of episodes. It was interesting because they took I guess the first half of the season, and each character got an episode to kind of get your backstory of that character and how it is that they came to be a part of the detective agency. So it starts off, the first episode they introduce Hanazaki and Kobayashi. So it kind of starts off with them and kind of meeting everybody. And that's where they introduce the characters. And then the second episode, I believe it's the wheelchair guy. It kind of shows his backstory, what happened to him. And then I believe it goes to the lead detective, Akechi, however you pronounce his name. He gives his backstory and how he interacts with the main villain of the season. And it's kind of cool because they did it in a cool way. It's not just flashbacks. It's kind of, with the lead detective Akechi, he's talking to an officer, a police officer, the one that always calls him to the scene of the crime or whatever. Mm-hmm. So as he's talking to her, it's kind of, she's asking questions. He's kind of reluctant to give it up, but it shows the viewer why it is that he's reluctant to tell her about it. So he never really tells her, but you still get, and it's similar with the character in the wheelchair. He has an interaction with another character from his past, and they're kind of conversating about it, but not really. It's more of him thinking about how we got there and how he's trying to avoid the conversation while he's being confronted by it. And it built up really nice until you get to Hanazaki's story, where you get the backstory between the relationship of him and his father and his brother, and why it is that his brother's gone and why he really doesn't like his dad. I thought that's where it did its best, and then kind of started going off the rails because his character does a complete 180. So he's enthusiastic about helping, and he wants to do all of this stuff and all of this crap. And then his brother is introduced into the story, and then all of a sudden it gets serious for him.
Turns into a different person.
Yeah.
Different character.
He turns into a completely different person. And then it just kind of, he goes crazy and all of that stuff. And then while all of this has happened, they have the guy that you assumed would be the center of the story, which is Kobayashi, the guy that can't be killed. And he's just there in the background, breaking through a wall. And that's all he does. He's just there to put a hole in the wall, just take out defenses, and then all the other characters come in. So I'm like, man,
okay.
I don't know.
To me, it's like, okay, with the kid who kind of did a 180, it's like I could kind of see they did like kind of a slow degradation with him because he kept getting yelled at. He kept getting, hey, you did your job, sure, but you didn't follow orders, this, that, and the other thing. He kept kind of getting put down. So I could kind of see where some of that came from, but I do kind of agree that it did kind of, his complete turn in that regards seemed out of almost out of nowhere. It was just kind of like, wait, what? Why? But yeah, my disappointment was to see the kid that we met from the very beginning, the one who couldn't be killed, and the other kid's like, okay, I'm gonna eventually I'm gonna find a way to kill you. I'm gonna find a way to kill you. And then he kind of said that he's gonna make it to where he made a promise to himself that his challenge for himself was to see if he could actually get the kid to want to live more than want to kill himself.
Yeah.
Before he actually found a way to kill him. And it's like, okay, I could follow all that. That was fine. And I wanted to see more of that. I wanted to see more of the interactions, more of the things with him, because out of everyone, again, everyone was kind of interesting in their own right, but the most interesting one of them all was the kid who cannot die.
Yeah.
Why did this happen? What is this going on? What is this? You want to know these things. And then the last 3 or 4 episodes, like you said, it's like he took he went to the back burner. They're like, no, we're not really gonna. I do appreciate kind of the comedic effect they had with him, because their use for him was, okay, something really big and dangerous is coming this way. Here, go out in front of us. I appreciate that little comedic effect that they had with him. They're like, all right, we need to break in here. Here, you go ahead. Or something's about to explode. Can you go in there for us? Yeah. I kind of appreciate that, but it seemed like it could have been like something that was kind of a footnote, and they kind of moved on after that. But they just kind of kept him there. They're like, no. I think they got to the point where they just didn't know what to do with him, so they just was like, okay, we're gonna focus on this instead.
See, and I wouldn't have mind the story of Hanazaki if he would have gone crazy, but it feels like it was too rushed, because they introduced him as this happy-go-lucky character, and then in the spread of 2 episodes, and it happened. I mean, I kind of get what it was, but it kind of seems like he handled it irrationally, because it's not like his brother's gone, so it's not like, oh, well, I can just go talk to him and see what happened. But instead, he's just like, oh, I hate everybody. You're trying to replace me with the indestructible dude. I hate everybody. My dad's a punk, and blah, blah, blah. Like, that part seemed kind of rushed. When they introduce the main villain, and when he starts interacting with them, that kind of makes more sense to me as to why he would be mad at everybody versus his brother just being stopped from doing crazy things.
And see, the main villain, I liked the main villain. I think that he had a lot of that. He or she, because it kind of seemed a little bit ambiguous.
Yeah.
Huh? It was an
it seemed a little bit like, wait, hold on. Is that the woman, or is that I'm confused.
Yeah, I couldn't remember, because in the flashback it was a girl, and then now it's a guy, so I don't know what's going on.
Or maybe it's just a really masculine. I don't know. I'm like, all right, we're just going to leave it at that. I'm just going to go on the assumption that they're the same people, and we're just going to move on from there. Yeah. But because of like that, and the way that interaction had, and the way you saw the flashback and the coming of the power of this villain and the way it was, I'm like, okay, this is interesting. I like this.
Yeah.
But then we kind of left it.
Yeah.
Because like they started a little bit of it, they started to explain a little bit of it, and they're like, no, we'll leave that alone. We'll just kind of leave that there.
Like, I get the person's motive, kind of. I mean, it doesn't make sense, but I can kind of see why he's doing all of this stuff. It's kind of to get, I guess, payback or mess with this person. I don't know if it's necessarily payback.
This kind of thing. It's like you can almost see it, but it's kind of one of those just like, oh wait, you kind of started to do a reasoning and fleshing this out, and then you just stopped.
Yeah, and then with the last episode, it just kind of, I don't know. They built it up. There was a bunch of action, and then the last episode is 20 minutes of them standing in the same spot.
I felt like he was crying a lot.
Yeah.
I felt like he was crying so much.
Yeah.
And it was just a sad ending.
Yeah.
And then it kind of seems like they try to tie it together with the villain in Kobayashi, the kid that can't be killed, where he has a small conversation or a short conversation with them, and it says, oh, we're the same, like they're the same experiment, or they came from the same experiment or something. So it tells you that he's an experiment, but it doesn't.
And but like
solidify
that just kind of came out of nowhere, and you're like, wait, but you guys aren't even like necessarily the same. You're kind of different in your own way. How does this? It's like none of it really made sense. You almost feel like the end of it, they're just like, we don't know what to do. Let's just throw it all in here and say that it's good, And you're like, come on, really?
Yeah.
You built up a good start, and then you just fell off at the end.
I think that there's one part where you see Kichi take a shot and he doesn't hit him, and they kind of blended. So this is me just trying to tie it together, but when he talks to Kobayashi and he says, me and you are more alike, he goes, you're a better version of me, or your powers of produced better than mine, something like that. So it kind of makes you wonder if when he takes that shot, did he miss or was it deflected? Like, you know, how Kobayashi gets the force field and that blocks everything. So I don't know if that's just me trying to put two pieces together or if that's kind of what they were hinting at. But
either way, it was very, very vague and very ambiguous in what they were saying.
But I'll be interested to see if they make a second season. I'll watch, you know, the first couple episodes to see if they kind of explain things better, or if they just kind of if it kind of goes back to the same formula as the first one, where it starts off happy and then they try to make it dark.
I don't know. I almost want to see if maybe did they just run out of funding towards the end there? Did they have something in mind planned, and then towards the end they were just like, we don't have enough to be able to do this, so let's just wrap it all up. I'm a little curious because I mean that almost seems like the way it was, because it just ended so weirdly, and it just didn't seem like it was supposed to be that way.
Yeah. I mean the ending certainly didn't fit what they were building up for, I guess.
If you look at like the first episode in comparison to the final episode, it's almost like night and day.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But I don't know. It was interesting enough to get me through the season. I just feel that the ending is what kind of killed it for me.
Last 4 or 5 episodes, just like, okay, come on, really?
Yeah.
You had an interesting story, you had an interesting characters, and you just decided to dump it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. They had interesting pieces. It just didn't tie together perfectly, or good enough to make it make sense.
And they didn't follow with the more interesting characters.
Yeah, definitely.
The theme of tonight.
Yeah. Where are all the interesting characters going? Damn it! I need more interesting characters.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, I've only seen one episode, and I was kind of iffy on the characters. My prediction was correct that the first episode was so chaotic I couldn't tell what was going on, and then like the next episode was, like I said, it was like explaining each character and how they belong to the whole story. So, but yeah, I don't know. Y'all are talking me out of this one like y'all talked me out of the other show.
The Taboo Tattoo. No, this one is a lot better than Taboo Tattoo.
It is a lot better, but it seems like it's kind of funny how it seems like the ones that both you and I seem to watch, Ray and Bouquet, we always seem to watch the ones that end up kind of being one of those either meh or just failures completely.
Yeah. It's so funny because we're so excited watching the very beginning, and then we come back and we're like,
yeah, and then we come back and we're like, oh God, why?
I shouldn't have had that last beer.
And I played tennis, in my younger years. And then when I went to college, I became like a big ping pong enthusiast and could not stop playing. So I was like, I only watched it on that basis. I'm like, maybe it might be pretty good about ping pong. And they go into ping pong a lot. And I like how much they break it down. Obviously, it's more exaggerated, with the different moves and effects and stuff like that. But it still holds pretty true, and it's just really fun to watch.
All of the skaters are like following each other, so you get to see like all of them are like on their phone looking at Twitter and like, oh, this person's taking pictures and doing all this kind of stuff, and they're like, oh, he scored this, all that kind of stuff. So it's really cool how they like implement social media into it, because it took like a big part of the series.